What's up, guys? Just to kind of backtrack just for a second here. Originally, we do have a 5.3 truck motor that we bought for this car to do an LS swap. It had all the accessories on it, the intake, injectors, fuel rail, I mean everything. It was like pulled out, set on a pallet, the air intake, everything. But I decided to make some changes and go a different route with what I'm going to do. We're still using the truck motor, but I went back and forth numerous times as to what I was going to do as far as the fuel injection, the intake, different things that you have to do and things that you don't have to do. I kind of decided that I wanted to take my time with this build and do what I wanted to with it. There really could be two parts to this as to what it would take to get the motor in the car, and then there's the different things you can do. And what I decided was leaving the engine in stock form the way that it was, fresh out of that truck, and bolting it up to this car was actually pretty simple. But the problem is I took a carbureted 350 Chevy engine out of this car, and that truck motor was actually going to yield less than what I had. And the whole point in doing an LS swap was for a substantial gain. I wanted that LS bottom end integrity that everyone brags about with these cars. So there was at one point I mentioned going carbureted on this car, and I had kind of a big response about it where a lot of people said, no way, go fuel injection, like don't mess with that. Well, I think I found a good happy medium for both. So I'm going to do a walk around, show you what I got set up on the motor, and then show you all of the parts that I've acquired so far for getting this 5.3 truck engine into a 91 Camaro. So sit tight. We're going to do a quick walk around of everything I got, and then and bam, here it is. This is a mock-up. It's not, everything's not actually installed right now, but this is what we're going with. As the title says, Holley Sniper EFI. This is the 650 horsepower model. Now what that means is this thing is capable of up to 650 horsepower. It's not like you're not bolting on 650 horsepower. Obviously this thing is going to be plenty for everything else we're dealing with for the time being. So because this is basically the electronic EFI and a throttle body, I believe this is 800 CFM airflow, 4 100 pound per hour injectors. This thing is going to be awesome. Now it is, I believe it has a ECU or ECM installed in it already. There is some connectors and everything that you have to hook up, but this thing is going to run off of, like, it's all self-sufficient, self-sustained. I believe there might even be a temp sensor, an air temp sensor inside there. It does have, I know one of the connectors goes to an O2 sensor, so it does read AFR. It does all the hard work for you. This thing, you don't have to tune it. It's got all your, like for a carburetor, it's got all your normal ports and everything, so you can hook up your vacuum, secondaries, all that stuff. Or vacuum advanced, so if you run a distributor, you can still hook that up. Still hook up for your brake booster, all that stuff. This thing has inlet and outlet on the fuel, one here, one here. Self-regulated fuel pressure. You literally just take a line from your tank and hook it up to here, and it regulates the pressure for you. I believe it's set to like 59 psi, something like that. Hook up normal throttle cable, which is nice because that's what we already have set up in here. This thing, I kind of read through the instructions a little bit, and it's going to be perfect for what we want. This thing has, I know this hooks up your monitor, your O2 sensor, and there's some other connectors for your power, ground, and then there's inputs and outputs. Like this thing has, I think, 2 fan outputs because it's monitoring your coolant temp. So you can actually program this through the monitor to turn on your electric fans, which is perfect because that's what we're running. I went with this because honestly, I didn't want to mess with the stock truck intake. I know a lot of guys do it. It's still good, but when you go to upgrade all that stuff, what I kind of found is that the money spent on this isn't very far off from what you're going to spend on any other setup. This thing is super simple. You throw a normal air cleaner on top or scoop or whatever you want, and the wiring's already done. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to mess with any of that stuff. So as far as doing a simple LS swap, I think this is going to be amazing. Also, I kind of had plans maybe to look at a 6-liter engine at one point, and I can take all of this fancy stuff that I'm buying and switch it right over. So I think this Holley Sniper is going to be awesome. Also, what I figured out, you know, this is a 650 horsepower model. They have like a 1200 horsepower model and also one for power adders. Now I know through some of the inputs, you can adapt these. I don't know if you can make this one run on nitrous. I know you can put a nitrous plate in there and run a wet kit just fine. But I think the other model is actually set up for inputs. This thing has, I got the book here, I got to read some more, but anyways, this is going to be awesome for us. So this is going to take care of our air and fuel. This is a Holley mid-rise single plane intake, which obviously you got to have an intake to adapt to one of these. It should be amazing. I'm excited. So anyways, let's switch over to our coil, drivers, timing, all that. MSD LS series ignition controller. This is the MSD black because it's black. And if you look, this comes pre-programmed with all of these timing table setups already. There's LS1 high output, which I believe it says the high output automatically adds 4 to 5 degrees of timing. LS2, 3, 6, 7, high output for that one. Truck high output, normal truck. Also, it has 4 spots for custom tables that you can load into this unit. It comes with software you put on your computer. You can make your own timing tables, program them through the USB port, and then you can switch on the fly with this simple dial right there. It even comes with a cool little screwdriver to just whoop, and switch them. It's awesome. It does have, I think it's 2.5 bar map sensor already programmed into it, or plumbed anyway, so you can actually plug your vacuum, or if you're running boost, this guy is going to work. This guy right here will cover everything we could want to do to this current setup for this car for years. Again, so if I decide to switch engines, a different LS motor, 6-liter, this is still going to work. All of the wiring is already set up to go right to our factory coils. It's all plug and play. The only dead end wires that you see here, powers and grounds, and then this right here, there are some inputs and outputs you can program into this box. One of my favorite ones is this thing has launch control, and it also has, what do they call it? There's launch control. Oh, 2-step. You don't have to buy a separate 2-step. This has 2-step built into it. You hook it up to your laptop, plug it into here, and you can go in. Here's some cool little pictures they put on the box. You can go in there and tell this thing what you want to do. So basically, if I have this correct, I can wire this to my trans brake button. And basically what that's going to do is when I push that button, it's automatically going to go to a 2-step. So it's going to hit a rev limiter. I can sit there at the line, and it's going to stop at whatever predetermined RPM I want. Then it has launch control, which is set up so that when you let go of that button, it's automatically going to retard your timing to whatever value you have set, and you can make it change on a curve for however many milliseconds, so that you can actually, if you're having problems with blowing the tires off, or in our case with a stock 10 bolt we don't want to blow up quite yet, we can retard that timing for however many milliseconds to help this thing get out of the hole. And you can go in there and you can make those graphs and make those changes all by yourself on a computer, which is going to be awesome. I'm super excited about this unit. This guy right here. Again, I'm just excited about all of it. It's all super great. It's going to be a lot of fun. So again, just like that Sniper, the wiring and everything is all set up. It's all plug and play. You just hook up your power and grounds, whatever inputs and outputs you want. Comes with the USB cable, so you can string that out, hook your laptop up to it, change your timing. This thing also has coolant temp sensing, and then again you can hook up vacuum to it, so you still get like vacuum advance, and as your engine heats up, this thing is going to accommodate for it. So between this and this Holley Sniper EFI, We literally have everything as far as engine management completely covered. It's going to be, I think, well worth the money. Speaking of which, this refurbished unit for 800 bucks, and I believe the intake and the MSD, I think I have 1,500 bucks in all of this. Everything I need to make this engine run and control it. It's two different systems, but self-tuning, you can modify this, and actually I know you can go in and do custom tuning on the Sniper too. I haven't read on how to do it. I think I might have to take it somewhere. There has to be some special software, but this can be modified, which I believe is only for your idle control. I know there's an idle screw that you can change, so when you put your cam in it, if you're having trouble getting it to idle correctly, you can make some slight adjustments there. But for the most part, this all should be super, super simple. I know through the instructions here, you can kind of see, oh, the tack wire. I'd seen people on the internet, big question, will the Sniper work with MSD? When you set this up, because this goes on, a lot of guys use these for hot rods and everything else. They're still running distributors, even really old school style timing systems. You can set that up in the computer through this little 3.5-inch touchscreen here. When you're using this with the LS series, you set it up as a CD box. So the only communication that this unit is going to have with our Sniper is a tack signal. So tack signal from this, we're going to wire up to this, and we're good to go. This unit has its own tack signal so that I can run a separate tack signal to my 5-inch monster tack, which is right there. So I can still monitor all that inside the car. Also, through this little touch screen, this is a live monitor, so you can set this up for whatever you want to watch. You can watch your AFRs, and with this you can actually set target AFRs through your O2 sensor, and you can watch all that. So if you want to richen it up, lean it up, you can make those changes manually through. I'll show you some of this stuff. But this is kind of like the setup you can do on it. When you go in, you configure your engine, configure everything you want to do. Yeah, there's kind of a little screen, shows like your throttle positioning sensor, all that. It's going to show you everything. So this is a live monitor you can have in the car. You can make changes. So this is what I'm running on my 5.3 LS truck motor. There is more goodies on the way. I'll do a separate video that go behind here. I got a whole kit we're going to do, because right now I got to tear this back down and do some other work to it. Still waiting for those parts to show up, and then we're going to do the final assembly on this engine. Get everything wired up, which I'll do more videos of installing all that, installing all this, the wiring, and actually we're going to be able to ditch so much crap inside all this other wiring that was set up through different setups that have been in this car. We're really going to be able to clean things up, and I believe it's going to be so simple. So now, as far as my specific LS swap stuff for this motor into this car, I'm going to do a quick run through of some of the other parts and pieces that I've got. So sit tight. Alright, I got some pieces laid out. Yes, that is a tiny plastic Ford Raptor sitting on the roof of my car. That's a whole nother goofy project we won't get into. Anyways, 5.3 truck motors come with a truck oil pan. Now, I've seen it. If you search, you can find guys have modified these to make them work. The problem is when I set this in the car, that oil pan's like 3 inches off the ground. So, through lots of research, because I spent a ton of time on the internet looking at different parts, I got the correct oil pan that will fit on this motor. That I believe that truck motor is like 9 inches. This one's only 5. This kit that I found, it is a stock style LS oil pan. Comes with a pickup tube, all the hardware, fasteners, O-rings, everything. That will get us the correct clearance that we need for our motor to go in this car. Again, you can use the other one, but that ground clearance just freaked me out, because all it takes is one hit. This car is going to be streetable still. We will drive it on the streets. And one hit from something and your oil pan's gone. That's not good. Or if you're launching hard enough and the car comes shooting up, comes down, I could easily see you bottoming out on that oil pan. So We played it safe. I think this was like 230 bucks for this kit. I didn't think that was too bad. Next, I went with Dirty Dingo motor mounts. These seem to be the most affordable. Basically, the way this is going to work, let me get some crap out of the way here. This is going to bolt to the engine. It's marked. I believe this is the driver's side forward. Our clamshells, there's Frank, he's hanging out in the engine bay. Basically, this is going to connect. Where is it? There it is. Just like that. And it's fully adjustable, slotted holes. This should work perfect. I bought the bare metal ones. I believe these were a little over 100 bucks for the pair. They look like good quality stuff. I don't pay for paint when I buy stuff. I can get a $3 rattle can, paint it if I want to. I say that because I think they had some powder coated options you could do too for extra money. Okay, so we talked about the Holley Sniper that's on there. This guy, the biggest change you got to make, and if you're doing an LS swap, you got to do this anyways. Fuel injection of this caliber requires more fuel. Easy solution I found. This is Aeromotive, I believe it's the 340 Stealth. This guy right here is rated for 90 psi at 340 lph. This is a drop-in unit. Pull your factory unit out. This should go right in place, and this will give us plenty of fuel through our stock system. It's advertised to go through our stock system. Now, worst case, if our fuel lines need to be bigger, that's not that big a deal. We just get bigger fuel lines, run them from the tank up to the car, and we're done. But this guy right here should, obviously I don't have it installed, so I haven't been able to test it, but this should get us plenty of fuel. Also, EFI E85 compatible in this fuel pump right here. Drop it in the tank, go. I believe this was 116 bucks. Comes with the whole kit, wiring pigtail, everything to drop in your factory sending unit. Oh, I ended up buying a comp cams. Basically a push rod length checker. I don't know that I'll need to use it. I'll probably use it to double check, make sure. I think this was 20 bucks. The other thing that you need if you're doing an LS swap, this guy right here is a flywheel adapter. The reason why you need this, because if you look on this factory flywheel, it's dished. So basically, when your torque converter comes up and mates up against this face right here, there's going to be, I believe, a 1/2 inch or 0.4 inch, something like that, of spacing where the snout on your torque converter isn't going to reach there. Simple solution, this little adapter slides right in there. This end presses in there, and that basically makes it flush all the way through. So your mating surface here aligns with your mating surface here. Now, the stock flywheel does not have the correct bolt pattern for the Turbo 400 that I'm using. It does have the 3-hole pattern in it, but through some research I found, guys, what they're doing is they're basically just getting a little rasp or a reamer, and they're just reaming these holes out a little bit. I think it's like 1/8 inch or 3/16, something like that. You expand those holes out, and bam, it fits. So for this, I don't even have to take this off. I'm just going to modify this one. I'm going to draw it out with a marker and go through there really, really carefully, spend some time and extend these holes out, and we should be good to go, which means I adapted my Turbo 400 to this 5.3 motor for, I think, 26 bucks is all that it's going to cost. This guy right here. The last thing, I have LS7 lifters. Got them from Summit Racing. Brand new set of lifters. And I won't be opening this other box, but it comes with the trays as well. I think they're LS2 trays if I remember right, or maybe LS6, I don't remember. But anyways, guys, I'm really excited to get this thing going. I've been working real hard to get all this stuff put together. I've been doing a ton of research, and honestly, if you get on the internet and just search, you can find really good deals on all of this stuff. I can't say exactly what I have into this project so far, because I think if my wife watches this channel, then I can't risk giving out that kind of information. But here's where we're at. We're going to be hitting it really hard the next couple days. This is mocked up right now. I'm actually getting ready to tear this all down. We got to do some work in the lower end. Also, there's a little hoodanger that you stick right in here that we don't have yet. I'm going to do another video when that shows up, because our cam, push rods, rockers, all that stuff, I got a whole kit of stuff coming in, and I'm going to reveal what we're going to be using at a later date. I don't have it yet, but we're going to do what we can do right now with the motor. And then when I get a little bit further into the assembly, I'm going to do another video, and hopefully really soon we're going to have this engine in this car for the last time. So guys, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, if you have questions, comments, concerns, you know, I always appreciate comments of different things I can do, advice. I learned a ton from the internet. I learned a ton from other people, and that's what I'm trying to give back a little bit. So anyways, thanks for watching. Dadgummit, stay good. We will see you later.